Hello friends, welcome to the cool Vedas. That's Vedas School. In the last video we had seen about the birth of Kauravas. Today we're going to see about the story of the birth of the youngest sister of Kauravas, the only daughter of Gandhari. Now this story has been mentioned in Sambhava Parva in Adi Parva. Before we start with the birth of Dushala, let's just revisit the story that we saw yesterday, in a very small way, of course. Gandhari, getting a boon from Vedavyasa and also Lord Shiva to have 100 sons, had at proper time conceived to have a children. But even after 2 years of pregnancy, she had not given birth. Meanwhile, Kunti, who had conceived after Gandhari, gave birth to Yudhishthira, an illustrious son he was. Now, when Gandhari heard of Kunti's son, she became very agitated and began pounding at her womb forcefully, as a result of which she gave birth to a huge mass of flesh. Now, the great illustrious Dvaipayana got information of this by his spiritual power. He soon reached Hastinapura and chided Gandhari for this action of hers. Anyway, the great sage got to action quickly. He had to save the children. Vedavyasa took it upon himself to fix this problem. He soon ordered 100 pots full of ghee to be brought, and meanwhile he sprinkled the mass of flesh with cold water. Vedavyasa then began to divide it into small portions, each the size of a thumb. And as it was being divided into parts, the nurse began to take them up and put them one by one into those pots filled with ghee. While this process was going on, the beautiful and chaste Gandhari, realizing the affection that one feels for a daughter, began to think within herself. These were her thoughts. She thought, there is no doubt that I shall have 100 sons, the Muni having said so. It can never be otherwise. But I would be very happy if I'd get a daughter over and above those 100 sons and younger to them all. The affection a woman feels for her son in law is great. If, therefore, I obtain a daughter over and above my 100 sons, then, surrounded by my sons and daughters' sons, I will feel very supremely blessed. If I have ever practiced ascetic austerities, if I have ever given anything in charity, if I have ever performed homas, if I have ever gratified my elders with respect, then, as my fruit for those actions, let a daughter be born to me. Thus she thought in her mind. All this while, that illustrious Dvaipayana himself was dividing the ball of flesh, and after counting a full 100 portions, he said to Gandhari, my child, here are your 100 sons. I did not after all bless you in vain. However, here is one portion of flesh remaining after 100 divisions. It's intended to give you a daughter. This part shall develop into an amiable and fortunate daughter as you have desired, said the all-knowing wise Vedavyasa. Then that great ascetic Vyasa brought another pot full of ghee and put the part of flesh which was intended for a daughter into it. He then left Hastinapura, telling Gandhari to not open the pots for a full 2 years. And Gandhari anyway listened to him. And at the proper time, from the first 100 pots were born healthy and mighty sons of Gandhari, while from the 101st pot was born the beautiful little Kaurava princess, Dushala, the only sister to 100 brothers. Now, after hearing the story of the birth of Kauravas with Duryodhana as the eldest, Janamejaya wanted to know the history of the birth of Pandavas. We know that after the magnificent territorial expansions of Pandu, he was out in the woods on a vacation with his wives, enjoying nature with all its splendor and comforts. So let's read along and see what life has in store for Pandu and his wives. With this, the story of the birth of Dushala comes to an end, but her life is magnificent. Born so lucky as the only daughter of Gandhari, her life was not so easy. We'll come to it later as Vedavyasa narrates. For now, tomorrow we will see about the stories of Pandu's son's birth.
Please like, share, and subscribe our channel for more Mahabharata stories. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you. Namaste.